Let's jump into it. 3, 2, 1. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Creators Lounge podcast. I'm your guy, Jaye, and we are back with another episode. Now, this is a cool episode because this is the second appearance of Azra, and so far on the podcast, only one guest has got to come 2 times, so now I get to do another episode with Azra, so I'm really excited. It's always interesting to have another guest come back on because we already got to, do the introduction stuff the first time. The second time, we can go a little bit deeper. Azra, my man, give us an introduction. What is your name? Where are you from? And what do you do?
Hello again. My name's Azra. I'm from the United States of America. I am in Norman, Oklahoma, and I am a 17-year-old music producer who specializes in mostly future funk, old school hip hop, and vapor trap, mostly.
Yes. Oh yeah. I love this kid. I've known you. I don't even know how long we've known each other. I think at least 2 years, but it's yeah. And so today we mostly are going to talk about his newest album. But before we do that, I am curious, man. The last time that we recorded was in late 2019, like December, if I'm not mistaken. Give us an update, man. From December 2019 to right now in February 2021, what all has changed? What's happened since the last time you were on the show?
Okay, a lot has changed, obviously. Like, aside from the COVID starting in early last year and the quarantine, a lot has changed. Like, there were things that I needed to learn. There were things that I didn't want to do, but I needed to do. I've grown in my skills, my mixing and mastering my craft. I gained some new fans, and I'm feeling better about my music career so far.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. I mean, obviously, like, that's experience, that's life, that you continue to learn as you go forward. But I do want to ask you, like, what do you think the elements were that made you grow so much in those ways? Was there anything specific that made it happen? Was it personal choice? Was it inevitable? Like, what would you say that made you change so much through the last 2 years?
I mean, it's just the isolation and the boredom and the minor depression, and literally, like, pain helps you get better. It makes you more wise.
Yeah.
Overall.
Yeah, man, it's crazy, but I like what you said. Like, it was just the isolation, like we were forced to come face to face with who we were in 2020. And, it was uncomfortable for a lot of us. Like, it's not always fun to be in that situation, but it's like once you're there, you can't just leave it. It's like, oh, I can't escape. I got to do something now.
Yeah.
Like you said, hardship, it breeds success. All right, dude, we're going to focus on the album Need Your Love, which is your latest album.
Yep.
Let's get started. Like, when and how did you start making the album Need Your Love?
This is pretty hard to explain. Again, boredom, and I started out sampling Ariana Grande, but I didn't feel right about it. I'm not a huge fan of her music. I don't know why. Don't tell me why, but I chose a different sample, and then I originally planned for this to be an EP, but like, due to the grit and passion that I had and boredom, I just eventually made it 19 tracks instead of a 4-track, 5-track, 6, 7-track EP.
Dude, that's awesome. That's awesome. Wait, I can't believe you were using Ariana Grande on one of your songs. This is insane.
Yeah, but I had to change the sample because I didn't feel right later on, like 2 weeks later.
I mean, it happens. Songs take so many different forms as we're creating them. Real quick, like, do you still have that original Work in Progress with the Ariana sample? Because, like, I would love to hear that.
Sadly, no. Like, I deleted the song from my...
I wish we had that. I can't even imagine you sampling Ariana. That would be crazy to hear. That would be crazy to hear. All right, and that was that like in mid 2020 or early 2020 when you starting making the tracks for the final set list? Like,
when I started making the album was about September of last year.
Okay,
so
very good. So from September and then finally to the release in January. Okay, makes sense.
Yeah.
Now the album is called Need Your Love, and I'm curious about the naming of the album. Like, where did that name come from? What's the inspiration behind it?
Okay, so I found myself sampling a really cool song that a couple of my friends I knew that a couple of my friends sampled this song. I don't remember the sample name. If you want to know the sample name, the ones who are watching, just look on my SoundCloud, Need Your Love, the single, and you'll find that name. And like, I just wanted, like, I figured, like, when I tried this out, man, this is getting so good, I need to keep going. And then, like, I didn't know how to name the album, and I usually just name the album, like, based on the first few songs of the album. So.
Okay, all right. Is there any specific meaning behind it specifically, or just like a name that was like inspired, basically? Then.
It was basically inspired. I mean, it has some truths behind it.
Yeah, obviously. We all do need love. Self-love and love from others. About names in general, though, like, how easy is it for you to decide a name for a song after you've finished making it? Is it just intuitive? Do you put a lot of time into it?
Sometimes it comes to me like that, but like some of the time, other times it's not so easy. Like I find myself in a few of my songs just beating myself up. Like, why can't I come up with a name? I'm not gonna do a title track like called Untitled. Like I need to have some meaning behind it.
Hey man, be careful what you say. Like, you know, 1 year from now, you might put out a title track called Untitled. That would be so fun. Yeah. That would be so much fun.
I mean, it would be fun. I mean, I already have a track named Untitled on my Pizza EP.
Okay, yeah. Well, I mean, like, it's funny, right? Because naming a song should be the easy part. But because, like, you know, for the production, you've got to chop and you got to adjust and you got to create and be original. And then it's like, all right, I did the hard stuff. Now the easy part. What's the name? What's the name? What's the name? I have no name. You know, like, you gotta figure out a simple thing with the name. So I totally understand that. Oh, man. So for Need Your Love specifically, though, obviously, you know, you started off with you started off with an Ariana Grande sample, but like, what were the inspirations for the album overall? I mean, obviously, the album went from September until January of the release, which is like, that's like maybe 3 or 4 months there. So, you know, I know that stuff can change in your personal life and everything, but as you were making the album, what were the inspirations from your personal life? What were the musical inspirations? Like, what was going through your mind as you were making this album?
I was going through my mind that I was like, how do I explain this? I was basically showing my arsenal, like the styles that I've adapted over the years of me making music. It's inspirations, like they're not from like my personal life other than like isolation, but like I've seen, like, I listen to Future Funk quite a bit, and I'm inspired almost always. So, but there are times when I'm not so inspired, and I just don't force it. I let it come from above. You know what I mean?
Right. As far as like, I guess we might dig into it a little bit later. But real quick, you do keep talking about mentioning isolation, and obviously, you know, I had the same experience, you know, being isolated out here in Korea. In what ways could you say specifically did the isolation inspire you or motivate you to create music? Like, what ways specifically do you feel like the isolation changed you or made you better, musically specifically, I guess? Well, if you wanted to talk about, you know, mentally and emotionally, that'd be awesome as well. But I am curious about like the impact on the music.
Like, I'm gonna be blunt, okay? Like, the isolation, the quarantine, it forced me to face my problems. It forced me to work on what I needed to work on, and I've received some constructive criticism from some of my friends, and and it's just like I had nothing else to do but create music, you know, being isolated.
Well, and I'm so glad that you have that outlet, though, you know, because when you don't have a way to express your frustration, express your anger, express your joy, express your euphoria, like, where does all that stuff go, you know? But for us as creatives, we're able to have music as a way to express all those emotions we feel in a constructive way, in a beneficial way. You know, I think it's important for all of us to have that kind of outlet, whatever it may be, whether it's, you know, playing basketball, boxing, whether it's making music, painting, fashion design. Like, if you can have an outlet, a way to express these emotions, you know, it makes life a little more bearable because you're not just living in your head, not just living in isolation. You're also expressing stuff in that isolation as well. It can help you stay more balanced. Jump in, man.
Okay, so I want to talk about my personal life more. Like, okay, so when I was about like 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 years old, I discovered jump roping for the first time. And I did it briefly. I was doing it around my house, but I quickly got bored with it. Freshman year, like when I was a little before freshman year, I picked it up again. Freshman year, when I was in track, I picked it back up again. And then December of last year, when I was probably at my highest weight, I say 226 on an empty stomach. But like I decided to pick my jump rope up, and I'm putting my foot down. I am not gonna eat terribly anymore. And I just like when I heard the video, that video said that I could lose weight eating whatever I want, like doing it, like counting your calories. That's when I decided to just lose weight, because I don't like that belly. I don't know if you can see it or not, but I've lost a bit of weight since then. I'm about like 215 last time I weighed, which was like last week.
Amazing, dude. Well, I'm so
jumping
glad
rope
for you.
is like the most. Yeah, the jumping rope, like it's the most underrated workout. It burns a lot of calories.
I gotta cut that up and share it on Insta. I often I'll show clips about artists talking about running and jogging these days, but jumping rope is a new one. You're right. Like a lot of people don't talk about jumping rope, but it actually is quite beneficial. I know that a lot of boxers use jumping rope to stay in shape, and even like here in Korea, a lot of people in Korea actually do a lot of jump roping as well. I can often hear people doing jump rope outside of my window down the street. So, it's a good exercise, you know? I think the cool thing about exercise is that you can make so much improvement physically, like you mentioned, you know, if there's certain body goals you want to reach. Mentally, because, you know, you're able to relieve stress. You're able to it helps you think better. It helps me think better whenever I'm exercising as well, you know, and the last thing is something that the last guest, his name is Kairoshi, mentioned, is that you don't need anything when you exercise. Like you can just exercise like with just your body, or you know, a jump rope, you know, if you have a jump rope. But like it takes almost nothing to exercise, and you get the physical benefits, the mental benefits, etc. Yeah, dude, it's incredible.
Yeah.
So
I mean, like body weight.
Go ahead, man.
Like body weight exercises are like the best. They're also the worst. You want to know what the one body weight exercise I hate?
Which one?
I hate planks. Okay, like as a big guy like me for my size, I can't plank without going. Oh, I can't. You know?
Yes. Yeah. But look, if you hate it, then you can eventually love it.
Yeah.
In a weird way. Because like I've seen the same thing happen for myself. The things that I dislike the most, the things that are the most challenging for me, whenever I see that, I'm like, oh, wait a minute. I hate it, so I'm going to get the biggest gains if I do this. So I'm going to keep doing it until I love it. I think it's similar with me for besides exercise, I'm going to compare it to another thing, live streaming. A little bit like live streaming for me. You know, I teach classes all day. I mean, I'm talking with kids and people all day, and doing like some online classes as well, right? So I'll do like some online classes, some hybrid classes online and in person. And so to come home after like doing that for 7 or 8 hours and then sit down and do another like live stream with people like on my phone, it can be a little bit tiresome for me, because like I already did this all day and I'm gonna come home and do it again like on my phone.
Yeah.
And just the fact of like, you know, with live streaming, I have to balance replying to comments, having a conversation face to face, and then like eating my dinner or working on something in the background. It's a little bit hard for me like to have all the different focuses there. And so because of that, like I didn't like it very much. Like it's a little bit uncomfortable for me to do live streaming. But on the flip side, like it's been crazy, man. Like so many cool things have happened on the live stream since I've started doing them on Instagram. We've had some really deep conversations. People have got to share their issues. People have got to share their music. And so like, even though I disliked it at first, now I'm really falling in love with it a lot more, because like realizing that pain is something I have to face in order to unlock all these benefits on this other side. So don't give up on the planks, man. Don't give up on them. Might lead to something great.
I won't. I need to do them more often. I've been procrastinating. I'm just doing jump ropes, no body weight exercises at all. But I got to do squats, push-ups, planks,
Yeah.
what you name it, you know.
Well, and to be fair, like it's great that at least you can keep up with jump rope, right? Because some people like they want to exercise and they don't even get started. But for you, at least you're doing the jumping rope, and that's helping you, you know. And then it's just a matter for you of going harder and challenging yourself and pushing yourself, whether it's planks or other body weight exercises. So you'll get there eventually. You've already got your feet on the path. So it's just a matter of continuing to push forward. So
Yeah.
that was really cool to talk about right there. Was there anything else that you learned from? Was there anything? Wait, sorry. Wait, Azra, say something real quick.
Hello, my name's
Sorry,
Azra.
okay,
I'm
sorry.
17.
All right, so that was really cool to talk about right there. Was there anything else that you learned from the space of time of creating the Need Your Love album? Was there any lessons you learned musically? Anything you learned mentally in that space of time as well? How do you look back at it? How do you feel about it?
I feel like I couldn't change a thing. Like there's a lot more that I went through than what I learned, you know, like I don't want to talk about it, but I'm going to have to. Like I was sort of getting out my emotions without realizing, like being cheated on in the past, being in a pretty abusive off and on relationship, like manipulation. I'm not gonna mention her name. She did it to a lot of other people as well. So like, yeah, and like I just
with music.
Yeah, I was just working on the music, and yeah, it's just I've learned that don't force 19 tracks in just a few months, man. Take time. I mean, I really was taking time, but I wasn't taking time. You know what I mean?
Why? Explain that a little bit more, though, Azra. I want to hear from your situation specifically. Do you feel like you were just being impatient because you wanted to release the album quickly? Do you feel like it was just that you had so many thoughts and ideas that you couldn't stop creating? Like, taking time, like, what do you mean by taking time? Like, what was the reason that you didn't, take time as much as you could have?
I mean, I just had like an overflow, and I was just on overdrive mode. Like, I was overflowing with ideas, and I just couldn't stop it, you know? Like, it's just all the isolation and the boredom and all that, and it's just I needed to do something. Like, taking my time, what I meant by that is, like, making sure everything's perfect, like perfectionism, sort of. And sort of like, yeah, that's how I'd explain it, taking your time.
Yeah, no, it's a good thing to keep in mind in general. It's so hard for us to be patient. It's so hard for us to pace ourselves. We feel like we need to get to the destination as quickly as possible. But, I think it takes time to get to that place, where you can really accept the patience. And it also takes perspective, realizing where you are and where you're going to be. But I guess the way that I would summarize it is just that the journey is like what? Like 90% of the story? The success, the destination is only like 10%, or 5%. Like,
yeah,
we spend so much more time on our process, and so we have to make processes that we enjoy. We have to make processes that we're comfortable with and that we actually want to do. Because if we're just doing something for a result, like, we're gonna be wasting our time, because the process it's gonna take up much more of the time than the result ever does. Man.
Yeah, like I want to say something real quick. So like, to any of my fans or anybody watching this video is new to making music, don't focus on the views. Okay, just like if you're really happy with what you're doing, that's what matters at the end of the day. Like, the most important thing in life is that you have love, you have peace, you have joy, you have kindness, you have patience, gentleness, self-control even. Like, you have to be patient. Like, I know, like, it's a long trip. We have a long life ahead of us if we come in with the right mindset. And it's easier said than done.
Man, I'm so glad to hear you say that, because I just love that. I love it so much, man. I'm so glad to have you in my community and to see you, spreading this information, spreading these beliefs and these values, because it's so true. It might sound silly to someone who's still struggling. It might sound silly to someone who's still in a dark place, but like being able to choose things like love and compassion and empathy, and peace, like you mentioned, like, once you can really embrace those things, once you can really comprehend those things, you get to such an unbeatable place, because you're not focused on negative competition. You're not focused on validation. You're focused on how do I make myself happy today? How can I be happy today?
Yeah.
And once you can be happy with yourself, then you can spread that joy to other people. You can spread those emotions to other people as well, man. Azra, since we're talking about it, like, how long do you feel like it took you to get to a really good place with those values, a really comfortable place with those values? Was it more recent, or was it like a year ago?
I mean, like, it was like I think it was like a year ago, but then I sort of like backslid and like figured, oh, I need views. I'm never going to be successful. I screw everything up, blah, 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 blah. But I'm like, as of now, I'm trying to get back into that mindset.
Yeah. It's a practice, man. It's a practice because this is the human experience. And so we always have to learn and grow and develop, you know, and check back in. And sometimes we want to backslide, but sometimes we want to be on the good path, you know, like, you know, and that's even something you can't beat yourself up about because we're all human. And so, you know, we have to continue to remind our brains about, you know, what the right values are to live by and everything. And real quick, Azra, like, for you specifically, because I want to share your message with other people. Why do you check the views? Why do you check the comments and the plays and stuff like that? Like, why were you doing that before? And then, like, what made you realize that you wanted to do it less and stop doing it?
I mean, like, I always check my views. I'm gonna be blunt. I think the views sort of like let me know how good I'm doing, and it sort of validates me in a way.
Mm-hmm.
You know. So
even now you still do it. Is it something that you do less than you did before, or?
Probably about the same, yeah.
Okay, very good. Fair enough. Yeah, I mean, a lot of people do, you know, like to check out the statistics and all that kind of thing. This one's kind of hard for me because, like, I can understand, you know, in terms of, like, needing to grow, you know, needing to develop your message and your audience, the need to check certain statistics and things of that nature. But on the other side, I feel like also, like, it's a lot of it's a waste of time because, it doesn't matter. At least this is where I'm at with it. Like, it doesn't matter because whether you or me are getting 1 view or 1 million views, like, we're still going to be creating things, right?
Yeah.
And so I feel
absolutely.
I do feel like that I would encourage a lot of people to really limit how much they're checking their statistics and their metrics, because the fact is that, you know, you're expressing yourself, and that's, like you said, if you're expressing yourself, if you're loving your process, then it's not going to end. You know, whether you're getting 200 or 5 or 2 million, you know, plays or views or whatever, you know, it's important to be happy with what you're doing. Anyway,
I mean, like,
go ahead, man. Jump in.
Yeah. Like, anyway, I forgot what I was gonna say. Sorry.
Say it now. Oh, okay. You're good, man. So the album is packed. We got 19 songs on there. Like, it's a huge amount of songs. I love it. Are there any songs specifically that you really do enjoy on that album that are, like, stand out for you or special for you?
Obviously the collaborations, Life Goes On, and Your Heart Doesn't Stand a Chance. That hip-hop song, yeah.
Why is that one special? What's the backstory on that one?
Which one are you talking about?
You can't, what is it, the last one you mentioned? About your heart, you can't...
You can't, your heart doesn't stand a chance.
Your heart doesn't stand a chance. And why is that one so special to you?
It's just the process I put into it. It took me like about a couple of weeks or so to finish it. And like, I got it from like watching TikToks, and just a thing popped in my head. Like, your heart don't stand a chance. Yeah.
Nice, man. So it's like a vibe.
Figured
yeah. It's like a vibe you would really catch and create in the studio. It's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. I am also curious about this, Azra, because like you mentioned a few minutes ago, you were talking about all the negative self-talk that can happen, you know, about, oh, I messed it all up, you know, and all that kind of thing. And also, given the fact that you create so much music, do you ever go back and listen to your music and have some sense of like regret of like, oh, why did I put that song out? Or, oh, that song could have been better. Does that ever occur to you?
Like, not really at all. Like, not so far. I mean, like, only like before. I'm like, let me talk about a track with a collaboration of a guy. Like, it was about like geography and stuff. Like, that's not what I regret about. It's just that he never talked to me. He never updated me. And then like at 6 a.m. when I was up in the summertime, I was really nervous, and I was even breaking out sweat. because like that man didn't let me know. Like, why couldn't you let me know? Like, why? Like, I need to update my fan. I don't want to just some eyes. So I'm not all about that.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh my gosh, dude. Yeah. I mean, that's a hard situation because lack of communication is it's hard for us to deal with, you know, because we're left so confused. We don't know what's going on. We don't know what's happening, and it's hard for us to process that kind of situation. Here's what I learned, because I've been through situations like that a lot as well, is I had to realize that it has nothing to do with me in most cases. You know, someone doesn't communicate because of something they're going through, and it's a reflection of who they are and where they're at, you know, not a reflection of who we are. And so since that's the case, we can't worry so much about it. We can't stress so much about it. All we can do is focus on, like, what can we do? Did we contact this person?
Yeah.
And if they didn't contact us back, it's like, well, I can't control you, so that's your problem. Here's what I'm going to do next, you know? Yeah, it's a hard one, but it's a lesson you really have to learn, is that, you know, if someone's not communicating with you, if someone's not making time for you, if someone's not working with you, you know, you've got to do what's best for you. Step away, or, you know, be available if you want to, but, you know, switch the focus back to what you're doing and everything. All right.
Yeah.
Anyway, I love behind the scenes stories. I love, like, you know, history on some of these tracks and everything. Was there any track on the album that has a funny or an interesting backstory to it, behind the creation process or something like that?
I'll do you one better. I'll do the backstory on the whole album. It came to me like after I did it. So
let's go.
So this song, let me put it in basic terms. It's about a guy who's by himself, and then he finds a girl, best relationship he's ever been in, right?
Okay.
And like, they hit it off real quick, and he needs her love so badly, and they're just out partying. They're doing everything every couple does, every teenage couple does, and then, like, towards the end, starting at about I Don't Need You Anymore, around that time, she cheats on him, and then he gets mad and takes out his anger on music. And, like, you can tell by the way I mastered it, that song. And and then, like, he understands that life goes on, and yeah, that's basically the whole backstory of the album.
That's amazing, dude. That's amazing. It's amazing. Oh, it's such a relatable human experience, you know? Like, in things like dating and love and relationships, like, it's a two-person situation, you know? And so that can hurt you because you're in direct connection with another person, and you're being open with them. You're being what do you call that? Vulnerable. You're being vulnerable with them, you know? And so whenever someone does cheat on you, or someone leaves you, or someone ghosts you, like, it makes you feel bad because you were trusting them so much and everything, you know? So, but,
I'm like, what did I do?
Exactly, what did I do? Yeah. And the catch is that, like, usually you didn't do anything. It was never in your control. It was never in your control. You know, and obviously that's, like, not every situation, but for someone like you, who I know personally, like, I know that, you know, you definitely did not do anything wrong, I'm sure. Like, you know, a lot of the time people cheat on us, or people leave us, or people abandon us, or ghost us because of something they're going through. Like I said before, it's a reflection of who they are. It's not a reflection of their partner. So it can mess you up, but like you said, the important thing is to grow from it, you know, recognizing that you did nothing wrong. It was not about you. And then, like, realizing to grow and learn and do better in the future for yourself, do better for yourself, how to treat yourself better. So it's so cool that you were able to capture that musically and deliver it in such a dancey way, such a musical way, man. It's incredible. Good for you. Good for you. All right. So, how do you stay so consistent with music, man? I mean, you've mentioned already isolation and boredom. Is there anything else that helps you stay consistent with music creation and music output?
I just love it. Like, the music sampling is in my DNA. It's in my blood. I can't stop. You know what I mean? Like, basically, it's just the inspiration after inspiration, and God watching over me, as always. And yeah, God is very faithful, and he'll help you through whatever you need.
And you also mentioned before in a live stream that you and me did together about making music a practice as well. Because don't you make music, like, is it almost every day, or is it every single day, or?
Okay, I'm gonna be blunt. Like, I've been making music a little bit less lately because I had to focus on other stuff
Yep.
and my health.
Yep.
Like I talked to you about it on a live stream before, and I had to do online school, which is a pain in the butt. $8 man.
Yeah. Hey, but I mean, like, balance is so important, you know, and so you're able to go complete ham on, like, making an album, 19 songs over the space of like 2-3 months, and then right now you have to step back a little bit, focus more on school, focus more on health. But I don't feel like it ends. It's a different balance of up and down. Go ahead.
So, like, you want to know how I balance my things so well?
How?
I do a lot of my online schoolwork at night. I'm not one of these idiots who postpones it until like midnight. I do I do tomorrow's work at night. That way I can spend time doing other things like reading my Bible, watching TV, making music, or even playing video games on my Switch.
Dude, nice, man. Nice. I love that. Good for you on taking control of your schedule. It's so important. Like, we don't even look, like, so many people just follow the system or follow what they're told to do. But, like, whenever you jump in and start taking control of it for yourself, saying, no, I want to do this right here. I want to do this over here. I want to make time for this. Like, you can feel so much more happier, Feel so much more freedom and happiness whenever you control your schedule and adjust things to work for you rather than how someone else said it should be done. Like, dude, that's awesome, man.
I'm more happy and I have more mental rest because, like, sometimes I don't even want to get out of bed. Okay, like, I don't know why, but it's just life.
It's just life. Exactly. It's just life. Dude, have you ever experienced creative block? Have you ever experienced creative block before?
Heck yeah, like every now and then I do, but like sometimes I tend to force it and then I end up not releasing it or just being overconfident and just releasing it, I mean, like, only one time, I think. Like, it's been happening less.
Good for you, man. Good for you. Well, I think especially as you get, like, more life balance in terms of diet, exercise, free time, like creative time, like I feel like as you get more balance in life, you're able to spend your energy better, instead of being hyper focused on only one avenue. If you have more ways to express your energy and to rebuild energy, then you end up having more energy overall for the stuff that you really want to do. I don't know if that makes sense, but I guess, like, what I'm saying is if you spend 90% of your time on music and then you let, like, your sleep slide, or you let your diet slide, you let your exercise slide, you start losing the creativity for music because you're spending all your time on it and you're not rebuilding energy through other ways. So
yeah,
good for you though, man, like, for making more balance in your life and finding something that works for you. So we talked already about the different inspirations you had while you were making the album, emotional, musical, etc. You mentioned also about how Need Your Love is like the story of, like, a relationship that goes wrong, but you didn't realize that until after the album was made, right? So I'm assuming that storyline or continuity wasn't really big on your mind as you were making the album. Is that correct?
Yeah, it's correct. Like, I don't even think of a backstory, but, like, somehow I did for, like, whatever reason. I don't know why. But yeah, can I talk about, like, why I just do most of my online school at night? The Bible says, yes, I'm bringing the Bible. The Bible says that he who loves to sleep, a little extra sleep, a little more stumble, and a little folding of hands, poverty is going to pounce upon you like a bandit, and scarcity like a robber. Yeah, like, that's how I remember it.
Yeah, we got to find a good relationship with all this stuff. We have to find our own balance,
yeah.
Too much time spent on any one activity is usually a harmful thing, whether it's sleeping or whether it's playing video games or whatever. Like, you definitely have to find a way to make it work for you, for sure, man. So saying that storyline's not super big on your mind when you're creating the album, I guess what that means then is that you basically just like make a track, you know, have it finished, and then go into the next one with completely new inspirations, right? What was the sampling process like for you on this one? Was it like more digging through YouTube? Was there certain musicians you were like, I want to sample this musician, I want to sample this musician? Like, what was the sampling process like for this album specifically?
Mostly the second one. Like, I sort of was digging through YouTube, and then like most days I just let it come natural, and then it just, wow, I gotta sample that, you know? Like, I put in a little bit more effort in my sampling because I don't want to be, you know, Young Bay, front producer.
Yep.
He never chops, like, ever. He just finds a song and go, he does.
You're not the first person to complain about Young Bay on the podcast, actually. So
really, who else did that?
Assonance. Assonance was on here if I remember correctly.
Oh yeah, I gotta rewatch that.
He had a little bit of a beef with Young Bay, so.
Oh yeah, like he made a video saying, "You
exactly.
Young Bay."
Exactly. Yeah. Young Bay's getting a lot of hate through my podcast. I don't know what to do. Hopefully he never watches it.
Yeah.
Oh,
Lord,
God.
please protect me.
Yeah, exactly. Oh my gosh. Which samples on the album are you most proud of getting to use? Is there a certain artist you got to use or a certain song you got to use that you're really proud of, or all of them were kind of equal for you?
Like, I think that Yamashita Tatsuro Yamashita, that song, I think it's called Misty Sparkle, if I'm not mistaken. Let me check.
Yeah, check it out. Take your time.
I'm not proud of, like, if you guys know me, I don't ever remember my time.
But you always do put it in the SoundCloud description. You always have it in the description box on SoundCloud. Make sure people know where it comes from. I do appreciate that.
No, it's not Misty Sparkle. It's Misty Muave or Muave or whatever, how you pronounce it.
Right.
And I'm proud of that.
What is just because it's Tatsuro, or is there another reason?
Like, okay, I listened to the song and I listened to people sampling it, and then like one day when I was at the gas station with my dad, I can literally hear a song in my head, like, and I realized, like, if I were to sample a slow song, I need like if I have the feeling, you know what I mean? Like, if I have the feeling, I need to just do it with the original tempo, maybe pitch it up a little bit so it could like flow better, you know?
That's so cool, man. That's so cool. You had like the idea, like at that moment, like you knew what to do with the song. That's so cool. Speaking of samples, though, as I was listening through the entire album to prepare for the podcast, you have a song called Sunshine. And Sunshine's a banger. Like, I enjoyed that one a lot. My favorite songs in the album were Sunshine, This Is My Life, and It Just Doesn't End. I can't remember if that's the proper name. Was it something like that? Or this is How It Ends, the very last song on the album?
Life Goes On.
So yeah, that's it. Life Goes On. Yeah, and those three songs specifically to me were the ones that really stood out. Sunshine, though, on Sunshine, there's some flutes near the end of the track, and those flutes sound so good. I love them so much. Is there any like instruments that you want to sample more, or that you want to spotlight more? Maybe it's saxophones, maybe it's like synth, I don't know, but is there any like instruments or styles you want to spotlight more with your music?
There's a lot of instruments. Like, I don't have anything specific. You want to know one fun fact about Sunshine?
Go ahead.
That was actually an old track that I made like in either in 2019 or 2020, and like I needed something to make because I had a creative block, so I just decided to revise that a little bit.
What? Dude, that's awesome. Cool. We talked about creative block already, and here it is right here. And even with creative block, you used it as inspiration. How cool is that?
I didn't realize it. It was awesome.
Cool is that, man? And that's
awesome.
That's amazing because it's such a metaphor as well. Like, the hardest situations we go through are sometimes the best situations that can happen because we can recreate it, we can grow from it, we can build from it, you can resample it. Like, dude, that is so cool to know that. That made the song even better now. All right, so aside from your own like personal productions, obviously you did a bunch of collaborations on the album as well, and you already mentioned that you'd love to work on them. You had 3 collaborations. The very first one that was talk about the LaVera collab. All right. How did that one end up happening? What was the creative process for that one?
Okay, so I found out LaVera by Krylo. It was a collaboration with Santino as well. And that's how I found LaVera out. And and that's what Krylo did. I was originally supposed to be in that track, but like due to circumstances, I wasn't able to because like he sort of forgot to put my chops in there, and then like he let them know and they didn't like my chops at all. Oh my gosh. So like I told him, go ahead, leave me out. I don't care, leave me out.
I don't need you
so,
guys.
Like so you don't waste their time, you know?
Oh gosh, dude. Oh gosh. Okay, so then like then I guess that your collab with LaVera was like revenge for that. It was like, okay, I'm gonna do my own thing.
Yeah, I want to explain a little more. So like, I also heard her My Tai by Krylo. LaVera was also in that, and then a little while later, I just sort of wanted to just ask her. I mean, like I know you're supposed like I heard she was a slow responder.
Mm-hmm.
She responds on SoundCloud, and I just felt so nervous for whatever reason, and I just forced myself to do it. A few hours later, she responds back saying, "Of course, you're so talented as well." So we exchanged ideas, and we went from there.
That's awesome.
And I sent her that song, and it's so smooth. That's what she said. Yeah.
Oh, that's amazing, dude. That's amazing. I'm so glad you did reach out to her though, because you guys made an incredible track together. That's awesome. Well, what would you say about LaVera as a creator, as a creative individual? Like, what would you say about LaVera? You know, obviously, it sounds like you had a lot of respect for her, or you admire her because you were kind of nervous to talk about her. Like, what would you say about LaVera as a creator?
Oh my gosh, where do I start? She is one of the most phenomenal singers I've ever heard in the future funk community. She was with Tokyo Wanderer, Krylo. Like Tokyo Wanderer is a duo, and man, like she lets nothing limit her. She does like anywhere from future funk to R&B to any other genre, like future funk with heavy metal guitars inside of it. Like she she says, I remember like she says, "The world is infinite, so are you," and that blew my mind. Literally blew my mind. Like we have no, like once you realize that nothing is stopping you, you become limitless. You know what I mean? I have a lot of respect for her work, and she's amazing, and she's definitely ambitious for sure.
That's awesome. Everyone, as you can hear from Azra, check out LaVera. She's a cool person, cool creative.
Yeah.
All right, second one is Fawn, a collaboration with Fawn, and you've worked with Fawn before. You guys have done stuff before. Fawn is quite an individual. Like I always see him on Twitter, posting some good stuff on Twitter, good content on Twitter.
Yeah.
What is the creative process like for you and him whenever you guys work together on projects? What is it like when you guys work together?
Honestly, I just ask him if he wants to collab with me, and then like unexpectedly, he's like, "Yeah, man, send me something, and I'll let you know if I can do anything." So the first song, I just send it in. Yep. He likes it. He does some edits, and then he does the final thing. He sends it to me, and the second one was sort of like that, but except I did the mixing for the vocals, but I did a terrible job. So he did the mixing, and it sounded way better, and I just leveled the instrumental with the song, and he's a phenomenal singer. Like I've heard him with Tokyo Wanderer, Kylo, even Vantage or Fiber. I don't remember.
Yep.
But
no, Fawn's an awesome creator. Again, like he's someone who is very creative. I love the work he does and the content he makes as well. The content he puts out on Twitter and Instagram and everything is really fun to see as well. All right, and the last one is a collaboration with City 9. Talk about that one for a minute.
Oh yeah. He tested me in every single way, like not in a bad way. He really challenged me. Like the first time around we used a different sample. I did some inconsistencies and he really forced me to look at myself. And I admire him for that. Like he legitimately like showed me how to like not do so inconsistent, you know? Like he's a really good person to collaborate with. He's like I first found out his music, and his music was sort of growing on me. You know what I mean? Like it's so awesome.
That's incredible, man. Incredible. It's so cool when you can not only have a cool vibe with someone, but then they also make you grow. You know, iron sharpens iron. You know, we continue to develop each other through our conversations and projects we do together. That's really, really cool to hear. All right, man. Kind of wrap up and talk about. Oh yeah, go ahead. Say something.
Yeah, like the Bible says, as iron sharpens iron, so a friend sharpens a friend in Proverbs.
That's right, man. Human connection is crazy. It's so powerful, so meaningful as well. Why should people listen to the Need Your Love album? Why should we listen to it?
I honestly don't know why. If they just want if they want 1 hour of funky goodness, things that they wouldn't find anywhere else, they could just go onto that album. Or if you just want something to relate to, you can go to that. But like, again, I don't force anything on anybody. So.
Yeah, right. It's like, it's out there. If you want to hear it, check it out. All right, man. That's so cool to talk about the album. I love everything. Thanks for sharing everything about the album, the creative process, your approach to music, the collaborations. It's so much fun to hear all this backstory, all this back information. For me, it always gives me a deeper appreciation of the album, to understand where it came from, to understand what shaped it and everything. So I really love having conversations like this about the music. So album's completed. It's been out for a while already. You've already put out a new single called I'm Right Here. Talk about that one for just a second.
Honestly, I'm Right Here was originally going to be a part of the album, but I'm doing too much for the album. Why don't I just wait until it's over with for a few weeks, and then I finish it, and then I just upload it. And it's sort of different than what I would make, like Jack and House, like,
yep,
that's sort of what I did, like with Future Funk. And I also sampled a song that one of my good friends, Samiak, sampled in one of his songs. I miss him. I don't know where he is. He's been so inactive. I don't know why. Samiak, if you're seeing this, your music is awesome, and I love it. So,
and please call out Azra again, because he's a bit concerned. That's one of the unfortunate things about the internet, man, is that like people can come and go, and sometimes they disappear. We're like, where'd you go? Sometimes we hear from them again, sometimes we never hear from them again at all. And so it's one of the hard things to deal with, like on the internet. But hey, by the way, dude, like, good job on you. Like I respect you so much for putting out so much music. I respect you so much for being so consistent with your music and everything. It's so easy for us as musicians to start judging ourselves or saying it's not good enough or it needs to be better, and that stops us from releasing music. If you could speak on that for just a moment, how are you confident enough to put out so much music?
Sometimes I fake it till I make it. Sometimes it's just God helping me out. Like last year, summertime, when my ear problems were probably at its worst, like that was probably at my lowest point, where I was like, oh my gosh, and like I was in a Future Funk competition, and I had to leave because I wasn't feeling so good, and I was just so unconfident, and I was at the lowest I've ever been.
Yeah.
But like God makes a way, even if we don't see a way,
Yeah. Have to stay on the path. Awesome, man. Awesome. Well, I'm glad you are where you are right now, with putting out so much music and continuing to develop it and express yourself. It's just a beautiful thing to see. All right, quick rundown on you for this whole year, man. 2021, what's on the plate?
I'm just gonna put out more music, and I'm planning on actually doing a hip hop EP. And I'm already almost done. With it, but I'm probably gonna release it at the end of this year, because I want to have breathing time, what I mean?
Yeah, like you said already, and you want to not have to rush yourself so much. Yeah.
And I'm also gonna have a sequel coming out, like I told you in the live stream. Like it's called Do Your Thing All Night Long. The sequel is about a man who's full of self-love and doesn't need anybody. He does his own thing,
Yes! Dude, I'm so excited for that, man. I'm so excited for that. Well, it's awesome because, I don't know, man, it's so beautiful to see you like this right now. You're so much more in touch with your art. You're so much more in touch with yourself. I think the last time whenever we had our conversations on the podcast, I feel like you were still pretty early in your creative process, in your life process, and you had a lot of ambition to embody these values and everything. But now getting to talk to you right now, you really have stepped into them. You're living your art now. You're living your life now. Your art and your music have become combined in a large way. You're able to tell stories now. you're getting more into, you're not being unafraid to diversify and like check out different genres and different styles and approaches. It's just a beautiful thing to see, man. I love it so much. Real quick, because like just now you said you're gonna keep putting out music. I want to talk about that for a second, because like, again, so many of us creators are so focused on the result or the outcome. It's more like, when am I gonna make it? When am I gonna be successful? When am I gonna be recognized? Like, where do you stand with that right now? Like, honestly, right now, like, where do you stand with that as far as like putting out music versus being recognized? Are you not thinking about recognition at all? Are you still thinking about it? What's your relationship with that?
I'm still thinking about the recognition, because like every track since Heartbreak I went through such a breakthrough, and I was so uncomfortable at that time, like through the summertime, and like it's just, I'm still into the recognition because
because why? Because why?
I've had so much, I just had so much more fans. They really appreciate my work. Yeah. And that's really awesome.
It is awesome. It makes you feel good, and it makes you feel like you're loved and necessary in the community. So, and you are, by the way, you are loved and necessary in the community.
Yeah.
All right, man. Fantastic conversation today. As we wrap it up, I would love if you could leave a message to the you of 1 year in the future. What would you tell yourself 1 year in the future?
Just keep doing what you're doing, and if you ever mess up anything, you are not that powerful. Focus on the process. Do your best. Don't care. Don't give a damn what anybody else thinks. Okay? Just do your own thing. And love yourself at the process.
Awesome, man. Beautiful. That's a message for all of us, not just you. Get inside here. Figure out this, and start living from where you are. Oh, this is incredible, dude. This is incredible. Thank you so much for being so open, so honest, so vulnerable with us today, man. Just sharing your story. This is like what I love to do. I love to give artists a platform to express, what's going on behind the scenes. And this is just so cool to see, man. So thank you for doing this. The last part of the episode, as you know, is the speed round. I'll ask a very quick question. Give a quick response, man. You ready?
3, 2, 1. Yeah, I'm ready.
All right, 3, 2, 1. Favorite color?
Red in all colors. I love colors.
Favorite food?
Ramen noodles and Bacon King. Oh my gosh.
What kind of ramen noodles? What kind?
Beef, chicken, chili, like the spicy one.
All right. Got it. Favorite day of the week?
It's different. Like most days, it's Wednesday. Like my favorite day of the week is Thursday, because I get my online school. So.
Favorite song at the moment?
Man, it's a song from like I don't know the name, but and I don't remember. Like I love a lot of songs.
Right. All right. Favorite movie?
School of Rock. I mean, like, I'm not a big fan of movies, but School of Rock.
All right. What's your guilty pleasure?
I have none. Like,
maybe video games. Maybe you didn't mention that before.
Yeah, video games definitely.
There we go. What countries do you want to visit?
The country you're in right now, Japan, Mexico. Mexico's not. But yeah, I'd love to just travel in general.
Yep. What languages do you speak?
English.
Name one person, alive or dead, that you want to have a conversation with.
Man, my mother. Definitely my mother. I miss.
And how do you want people to think of you?
I want people to think of me of who I really am. Like, sometimes I'm a little upset. Sometimes I'm happy. Like, it never ends.
All right, man, and we were clear. Dude, thank you again so much for being on here, man. That was just a beautiful conversation. Can't wait to share this on YouTube, chop up some clips and share it on social, let more people know about you and your mission. Is there anything you want to close with, anything you want to say as we wrap up the episode?
To all of the young people out there who wants to make music, you're supposed to make mistakes. Don't hit your head against the wall. Don't beat yourself up. If you mess up something, if you think you even miserably, you are not that powerful. Just just create, learn from your mistakes, and keep on growing. Learn from it.
Beautiful. I fully support that message. No ego, just authenticity. Oh my gosh, everyone, as you can hear, there's so much that goes into Azra's creations, his art, his life, and he's just developed himself so much, musically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, in every way. And so I'm just so proud that I could have a platform like this to give him a voice, let him be able to speak more about the stuff he cares about. Thank you everybody for watching today's episode. Please do check out his album Need Your Love, his upcoming releases as well. I guarantee they're going to be incredible, funky, fresh, and just make you feel alive. So please do check them out. As always, you can contact Azra or me on social media. I'm on social media pretty much every single day. And so reach out, send us a DM, leave a comment, let us know what's up. Thank you again for watching, and I will see you on the next episode. Take care. Have a great night.